Hi guys, it's Ariana here, and today I'm doing my July TBR. So we're going to talk about all the books that I hopefully will be reading in July. These are my priority books for July, primarily because as a library user, they have to go back to the library in July, so I want to read them before they go back. So some of these are actually a repeat from last month because I didn't read them, so I have to get them read earlier in July. But I'm excited to talk to you about the priority books I'm reading this month because it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited. I have an exciting little lineup. So we'll see how it goes, and let's just chat about all the books I want to read. The first one being Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So this is Brandon Sanderson's first foray into YA books. This is a sci-fi novel where humans live in a colony on another planet, and there are these aliens that attack, and so as such there's a team of pilots that fly their little airships, and they go and attack and defend the colony from the intruders that don't know a lot about it. And so our main character, she wants to become a pilot, but her father fled from the line of duty, and so now everyone doesn't like her very much. And so it's about her struggle in pilot training school. As she learns how to become a pilot, she faces a lot of opposition, and this is really shiny because of the window, but that's okay. And so it sounds like a fun romp. I've heard really good things about it. If you follow BookTube at all, you probably have heard the hype about this book. They came out at the end of last year, and so everyone and their dog was talking about it, and so I put it on hold then, and I'm just getting it now. But I'm really excited. I know there's going to be a sequel to this book, and hopefully I'll like it so I can read the sequel. I haven't read any Brandon Sanderson, and so this will be my first book by him, but I've heard really good things about his writing. I follow Reagan at Peru's Project. She never stops talking about him, and she has me hyped about this book and all of Brandon Sanderson's work, so we'll see how it goes. The second book that I want to read is my main hangover from June that I did not get to. It is The Pale Rider by Laura Spinney. If you watched my last June TBR, you'll know that this book is about the Spanish flu, and so it looks at the history of that epidemic, how the Spanish flu evolved in the aftermath of World War I, and how it got overshadowed by World War I, so as such doesn't get a lot of play in the history books. I'm really interested in this book. I love science writing a lot. I don't read enough science writing, and it makes me sad, and it's just one of my favorite things to read about science writing, not specifically epidemics. I've read other books about epidemics, and they gross me out, but this one sounds better and less disgusting. I read The Red Zone, and that book, the author's escaping me, but that author made me terrified of monkeys. And I'm hoping that this book won't make me terrified of any primates. I'm really excited. It'll be a good time. I know that was a random tangent, but I am excited for this book. It'll be good. The third book I want to read this month is my monthly Christian book. So this is a combination of two shorter novels by Ian Thomas, So the Saving Life of Christ and the Mystery of Godliness. Received this one from a friend. I've heard really good things about it. It'll be good. I try to do one Christian book a month just to engage with my faith. So I'm excited to read this one. It's not too long, which I'm happy about because I hate it when books drag. And I know it's like, read all the pages, but you know, finishing things is so satisfying that sometimes it's nice to have a shorter book just so that you can finish it and feel good about it even though it wasn't that long. Fool yourself. It's always good. The fourth one I want to read in July is a bit more of a book outside of my comfort zone. This is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. It's also called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, but when my library got it, it hadn't had the name changed yet. Mostly because of the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so people were getting confused. But this is a mystery crime book, I believe. And so the point of it is that Evelyn Hardcastle gets murdered, and then so this person is going through and living the 24-ish hours, I'm not 100% sure, right before she died in the bodies of different people that were at a party, I think, with her when Evelyn Hardcastle dies. And so you're trying to figure out who the murderer is. I don't read really any mystery ever at all. It kind of terrifies me because I'm like, I don't want to die. And so reading about like mystery and death from that sense, it makes me uncomfortable. And so I'm excited for this book. I've heard some things about it, not a ton. There's a lot of pre-release hype, and then I didn't really hear anything about it again. So I'm interested to see how that goes, because it's always a gamble, especially when you're dipping your toes into new stuff. The fifth book I want to read is Factfulness by Hans Rosling. So, fun thing about this book, I actually got this book from the library before, but I was a lazy little bugger and I did not finish reading it before I had to return it. So this will be my second time trying to read this book. I got like 40% of the way the first time. And this book is essentially looking at how, as we as people living in the 21st century, can be optimistic about the way the world is going and how the world is actually doing better than we often tend to hear. And so what Hans Rosling actually does is he looks at psychology and statistics primarily to explain how humans have a bias towards the negative and how stats hide the truth. And so how taking those two main thrusts together, you can actually understand that, humanity isn't doing that badly. Yes, there are significant issues and we should address those issues, but we're doing way better than we used to be doing. And even if that fact is sometimes hid behind the way that the media portrays common life and the way that things are sensationalized and steady progress is often ignored, this book looks at how that should be celebrated and recognized for how the lives of millions, if not billions, of people around the world are improving, and we sometimes forget that. The sixth book I know I really want to read in July is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I hope I said that right. I am not sure. Oh, hello. You can't see it, but my dog is here. There you go. You can see her little butt in the corner. So this is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Goodbye, Reina. And this is a Chinese-inspired historical fantasy novel, I believe. So in this book, our main character has aced all these tests to get into this elite school, I believe, and so she surprises everybody, and she goes from there and she has to save her kingdom, even though she's this girl from an impoverished area that nobody's heard of and she's not really recognized. I've heard there's a bunch of trigger warnings on this book, so if that's an issue for you, please do check that out. I know very little about this book. I've just heard really good things about it, particularly on Bookstagram. I've heard a lot of people talking about how this book is really well done, even though it's very dark. I'm interested in following fantasy books set in a variety of cultures, and I'm really excited to see more of that now, just because Western European fantasies can get dry if that's all you read, and so engaging with books from a variety of cultures, set in a variety of cultures, is really important, not just so that these stories get heard and represented, but also just because, from a selfish standpoint, I don't want to get bored. I'm really excited to see something new that I haven't read before. I've never read a Chinese fantasy book, and I'm super excited. So those are the 6 books I know I'm going to be reading this month. I have other books I'm sure I'll be reading primarily in audiobook form, but I don't decide on audiobooks right away. I'd love to know what you guys are planning to read in July. I know some people take a lot of vacations in July, so does that affect your reading? I'd love to know. For me, I'm working now, so I don't get that luxury, but I'm really excited to hear how your July reading plans line up, and I hope they go well and smoothly. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again next time.